In the Yemeni capital, a massive fireball, followed by a thick column of black smoke, tore through the skies of Sanaa. On August 25, 2025, the Israeli Air Force carried out a series of powerful airstrikes against targets considered strategic for the Houthi rebels. According to initial reports, installations near the presidential palace, 2 power stations, and a fuel depot were struck. The explosions shook the entire city, plunging residents into panic. Subscribe to this channel to follow every development in this escalation that is reshaping the balance of power in the Middle East. The human toll is heavy and still unclear. Some local sources report at least 4 dead and 67 injured, while others mention up to 6 fatalities and 86 wounded. Civilians are among the victims, most hurt by collapsing buildings or fires triggered by the strikes. Hospitals in the capital, already weakened by years of war, were overwhelmed by the influx of wounded. Footage shows entire neighborhoods thrown into chaos, families fleeing, and rescuers desperately trying to pull survivors from the rubble. In Tel Aviv, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu quickly reacted, declaring that the Houthi regime will pay a very heavy price. In his statement, he emphasized that the entire region is now learning the strength of Israel. These strikes were presented as a direct response to a ballistic missile fired by the Houthis on Friday toward Israel. That missile, equipped with a cluster munition warhead, a first in this conflict, evaded interception, sending shockwaves through Israeli leadership. On the Houthi side, the rhetoric is equally firm. Their media denounced the strikes as a barbaric act of aggression and vowed further retaliation. They claimed that the bombings mainly hit civilian areas, seeking to rally even more popular support. Reality on the ground, however, shows that several of the targets were indeed strategic facilities, allegedly used by the Houthis to store military equipment and coordinate rocket fire. This attack highlights a dangerous turning point. The conflict, long centered on Gaza and the Israeli-Lebanese border, is now expanding into the Arabian Peninsula. The United States and several European capitals have called for immediate de-escalation, fearing that this direct confrontation between Israel and the Iran-backed Houthis could spark a broader regional war. Diplomatic channels are closely monitoring developments, aware that any misstep could drag in other regional powers. On the ground, once again, civilians are paying the highest price. Entire families have been left homeless, power outages are spreading, and the fear of new strikes keeps many residents from returning home. Yemen, already devastated by a decade of civil war and humanitarian crisis, sinks further into tragedy. Beyond the human toll, the military balance is also shifting. By striking Sanaa with such intensity, Israel has sent a clear message. Any direct attack on its territory will be met with immediate and massive retaliation. Yet this show of force may also harden the resolve of the Houthis, who portray themselves as the spearhead of resistance against the Jewish state. Tension is therefore at its peak. Every passing hour could bring another escalation, another tragedy, or perhaps the faint possibility of a diplomatic opening. The future of the Middle East now hangs on the choices of leaders and the reactions of nations. Stay tuned, because history is being written before our eyes, and every detail matters in understanding this shift. Subscribe so you don't miss any updates on this breaking crisis that goes far beyond Yemen's borders.